Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another phenomenal episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the Monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she's not co-hosting Ringside Society, she goes on crazy misadventures, such as picking fights with random people, trying to pull our guest B.D. Brawley's beard, and shopping for DeLoreans to go back to 1885 for freshly churned butter. Louisiana's own Kathy Knight. In the second corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a chief burrito because he's made of chicken and beef. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the third corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a man who was actually I guess you could say 1/5 or 1/6 of one of the most dominant stables in reality of wrestling, renegades of wrestling. He is not only the man with the best beard in the business, but he is the new PWF Lone Star co-champion. Everybody, welcome to the show, the suplex juggernaut, BD Brawley.
Woo! How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good. BD, thank you very much for, taking time out of your busy schedule, taking time out of your, resting schedule. Because, we know being a champion is not that easy. You got to rest after one match. But at the same time, you got to think, hey, who's going to come up next? How do I deal with this opponent? How do I fend off this person that's trying to get my title or you and your partner's title? And we really appreciate you. We really and truly appreciate you taking time to appear on our show. How's everything going for you?
First of all, it's an honor to be on the show. I appreciate you having me as a guest. And, you caught me on day one of being a champion, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, I told, it all started with Jay Alexander. Kathy was like, yeah, hey, let's have Jay Alexander on the show. So I'm like, okay, let's have him on. And then lo and behold, I saw, wait a minute. Kathy said he's part of Renegades of Wrestling. And so I'm like, okay, he's part of a stable. And then I saw, wow, there's several people. There's, and I was like, we're going to get around to it. Unfortunately, it took a year because, we have so many people, so little time to actually have on the show. And, I was looking back at our past guests and I'm like, man, those guys, the rest of those guys in ROW aren't chopped liver, man. We got to get them on here, man. And so we started with Dex Harm, the highly iconic man, and now we have, the man with the best beard in the business, BD Brawley. Regards, if you're watching, we coming for you too, man. And also the other guy, with the red hair. I don't know if he's still wrestling. Nobody's told me who he is. But there's a guy I see there who has red hair. If you're still in the ring, or if you're still around, we coming for you too, son.
He, the guy with the red hair, as far as I know, doesn't wrestle anymore. He kind of fell off the map.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I think he's acting now, but I could be wrong. Or modeling, something along those lines. He's doing something in entertainment, but he's not wrestling anymore, as far as I know. But I'm not in contact with him. And by the way, next time you talk to Dexter, you got to talk some mess about him not having a period after the M on his HIM thing. Because he's got an acronym, but he doesn't have a period after the last letter.
Wow. Okay, Dex.
I've been giving him mess about that since he started doing him.
Awesome. Yeah, wow. That's. Hey Dex, I think BD just gave you a bit of an idea. After Renegades of Wrestling, I decided to just start doing me, that is. So yeah, could be onto something. But yeah, once again, congrats on the championship win. How does it feel to be a champion, man? Like PWF, Lone Star co-champion. How does it feel, man?
I appreciate it, man. It was cool. It was a great match with some great guys. It was cool to have my tag team partner in there with me. He's also the co-champ. We won it together, and we're gonna defend it with the Freebird rule. It's the one of the most highly coveted titles of that particular organization. So um, it's very cool. It's nice to have on my wall and whatnot.
I gotta say, BD, you say Freebird. Every time I think of Freebird rule, I think of obviously Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry Gordy, R.I.P., and R.I.P. Buddy Rogers, and Jimmy Garvin. And I remember Michael P.S. Hayes moonwalking, in that ring. And it's a good thing you're a big guy with a beard, because when you're a big guy with a beard, you start moonwalking, nobody can laugh.
Right, right.
Somebody sneaks like, like, what are you laughing at? Like, nah, you look like Michael Jackson, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, I'll
So,
I'll come out of that ring real quick on you.
see, like Chris Rock said, nobody wants to laugh at somebody that can kick their butt, man. Like they don't. So, but let's take it back a bit. And I gotta ask you, man. We're gonna take a time traveling trip, and I just gotta ask, how did you become a fan of professional wrestling? What was the match you saw, the main event that made you start tuning in, week after week?
So my story is a lot different than most guys, right? I grew up in the Attitude Era. I'm a '91 baby. So
Okay.
like elementary school, every third shirt is Wolfpack or Austin or Rock. Everybody watched wrestling before I was in middle school from like growing up. You know what I mean? But I wasn't allowed to. It was the middle of the Attitude Era. Stuff was going on. My family wasn't a big wrestling family to begin with. Um, so I had to sneak watching wrestling. So I can't pinpoint a certain match or anything, right? Because I remember I played the game because for some reason that was okay, but watching the show wasn't okay. Not sure about why that happened. But like I would always look in the toy aisles, I would walk by the Kane figures and the Sting figures, and I'd be like, "What is that? That's so cool, right?" Um, so I would have to say like the games, honestly, and like the sneaking in and wrestling was so big back then. If you caught a Monday Night Nitro or a Monday Night Raw in '97, there's a crowd full of people and there's signs everywhere, and everyone on the entire card is larger than life, right?
Right.
Uh, so you're just watching a spectacle, and as like a 8-year-old kid seeing that, and I think it's more special to me because I had to like sneak it, right? It had to be like at somebody else's house or like with my brother or something, right? So I can't pinpoint a certain match, right? Because I saw this stuff like months in between, right? Or like months of breaks between me watching matches and stuff. But I've always loved it. And then when I finally got to like be a regular fan and watch it weekly when I was like in middle school, that's when I got really into it.
Wow. Yeah, man, that Attitude Era. Luckily, I was a teenager. Started when I was 14, ended when I was 19. Luckily, I was able to watch it.
Uh,
Um, the fact, I was pretty much, so I would say this: where I'm from in Ghana, we're not like, you can hear cussing on there, you can see whatever, but you best leave that to the people on the TV. You don't None of that stuff they're doing outside of TV, or else that was it. That was pretty much your butt. So I was allowed to watch it, but I knew better than to give somebody the DX crotch chop. The only thing I did get away with was doing the people's eyebrow to a lot of people. Nobody was like, the people's eyebrow. I mean, who's gonna get beat for doing the people's eyebrow? Like,
right.
come on, you're not gonna get in trouble for doing that. I mean, it's The Rock. But yeah, I was sitting there, 15-year-old me was thinking, man, I started watching back in 1990. I couldn't watch this stuff. I wouldn't be able to watch this stuff if I was the age I was in 1990 at that time, because my parents would be like, nah, you're not watching that. Like, no. Stone Cold showing the middle finger,
Right.
Sable with no top and just nothing but handprints on, and Mark
Anything
Henry,
DX did.
you know, yeah, it wouldn't have flown. But luckily I was at that age where, I knew better, and, you know, it was what it was. But at least you end up getting to watch though. So
Yeah.
who were some of your favorites that you enjoyed growing up?
I love Sting. Sting will always be my favorite. Um, Stone Cold to me was always like the epitome of what a professional wrestler should be and like what they are. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
there's not a single person in that audience that thinks they can whoop Stone Cold's ass, right?
right.
Um, he's he's a badass. Like, there's no he is what professional wrestling should be to me, in my opinion. Like, I don't think you should ever see a champion and be like, man, you know what? I think I could fight that guy, and I think I would stand a chance. Some guys now, not Roman, obviously, but like there's guys in the past 10 years where you're like, you know what? I could come off my couch and I could stand a chance against that guy. Not Stone Cold. Stone Cold stomp a mud hole in you, right? Love, love Stone Cold, love Kane, um, Ric Flair. But I mean, who doesn't love Ric Flair? It's the GOAT, right?
Right.
I was always a Booker fan, which is cool that I ended up going to a school. Uh, let's see. I love RVD. I didn't get to see him until after ECW, obviously, but um, I mean, if I had to go down the list, almost everybody on the roster from like '96 to like 2005 was great. You know what I mean? Like early Ruthless Aggression era was like a stacked card. DDP is one of my favorite of all time. He never gets mentioned by anybody.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'll always remember that saying he had back in '99. You love me, you hate me, you'll never forget me. And that's right. I mean, people who were watching in that era, they would definitely remember DDP. I mean, you may not talk, your brain may not think of him at the time. But when you say when somebody says DDP, yeah, the diamond cutter, bang, can't forget that guy. Um, and his story is funny, man. It's just crazy how he actually came from starting, well, being a manager, to having his first match at 35, to being a world champion, to now, WWE Hall of Famer and successful owner of DDP Yoga, which is used by many within the wrestling industry and outside of it too. So it's a
Oh
great
man, it's
story.
incredible. Have you ever tried DDP yoga?
I have not. I heard it works wonders.
It's incredible. I haven't done it in a while. I was doing it a lot before I started having matches. Um, and I haven't got back to it for some reason yet. But DDP yoga is life changing.
Yeah,
And
I met him before, and he showed me some like before and after pictures, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And then I don't know if you know this guy, KM, who used to wrestle in Impact. He
mhm.
started doing it, and he was showing things that he was able to do once he started doing DDP yoga after, like, I think a few weeks or a few months or a month or two. So yeah, it's great that he actually found something out of wrestling that helps wrestlers, in the business.
Yeah.
So, now that you're a fan, you got your favorites that you're cheering for, you're going to the shows and whatnot. How did your journey go from professional wrestling fan to now, BD Brawley, professional wrestler, new PWF co-champion, Lone Star co-champion?
So nothing about my story is going to be conventional, right? I'm just not a conventional guy. Um, I thought in high school, I thought I was going to be a professional football player. Turns out it's a lot harder at 6 foot to be an offensive lineman. Um, so I didn't get too many looks in college, and I decided I was going to art school. And then after about a year of not doing anything athletic, I realized I'm not built for not being an athlete. So I started doing MMA. And I did that off and on until I was about 26 years old. And then I was taking took a year long break because I realized at 300 pounds and 6 feet, I'm fighting guys that are either like 7 feet tall or guys that are way bigger than me because I'm in the super heavyweight division, right? So like, because I did Muay Thai fights, I never actually did an MMA fight. I did Muay Thai fights, to be clear. But I was always fighting guys that were way bigger than me. Like I fought a guy, like my last fight was against a guy that was 6'8" and 280 pounds with a six pack. Like he was gigantic, right? So I took a year break, and my nephew just so happened to go to school with Charmel and Booker's kids. So my nephew is really good friends with Charmel and Booker T's kids. Um, and I ended up getting the opportunity to train there. And I've loved wrestling my entire life, and I decided, I'm probably not going to make it in this MMA thing. I'm getting older. If I'm ever going to take a shot at professional wrestling, right now I have the perfect opportunity to go to school, to be a professional wrestler, and I'll see how this works. And then I went, and I was instantly hooked. It's really hard to get into professional wrestling. So like I've done just about every sport, right? Professional wrestling is the most complete athlete. Like to be a professional wrestler, you have to be the most complete athlete of any sport I've ever played. More than MMA, more than football, more than baseball. You have to be a gymnast. You have to look the part, so you have to be able to lift weights. You know what I mean? Your cardio has to be crazy. You have to be flexible. And then on top of all that, you also have to have a personality and be able to present yourself in the ring as you always have to look cool. Even if you're getting your ass kicked, you still have to look cool, right? So I instantly fell in love with it, right? And I was going like my entire life was work, wrestling. And it just took off from there, and that became my life.
Cool. And it paid off because you've been featured on reality of wrestling as one of the renegades of wrestling, and now you're a champion, and hopefully we get to see more of you, get to see you you know wrestling all over Texas, and hopefully outside of Texas, and maybe all over the world. And heck, maybe we'll even see, hopefully we get to see you on AEW, AEW Dark or Dynamite or Rampage, and then or WB, and I'll be like, yo, Rob, Kathy, we just had him on the show. Yeah, man, you never know you never know what may become of somebody in professional wrestling. Look at James Ellsworth. Did any y'all be honest? Did y'all see that happening? I'm not hating on him, but nobody. I'm sure nobody saw that happening.
I mean,
But it happened.
and I mean this with no offense. Did you know who James Ellsworth was before he was in WWE?
I
Had
didn't.
anyone heard of him? Like, I didn't watch a lot of indie wrestling before I got into wrestling, to be honest. I watched Raw and that was about it, but I'd never heard of him.
Yeah, I didn't hear of him either. And lo and behold, he got a contract, and he's wrestling all over the world and getting paid good for it. So that's why we do what we do here. I mean, we interview everybody. We don't care how they look and everything. Um, yeah. So next, I just got a few more before I turn it over to Rob and Kathy. I know they're dying to ask you a couple of questions as well too, especially Kathy, since she's seen you front and center live doing your thing. So I gotta say, so Renegades of Wrestling, y'all were running roughshod. Y'all were like the Shield with a few more members, like NXT. It was nice, see the Nexus, just taking down everybody and whatnot. How did y'all bring that stable together? How did you and Rudy and Dex and Jay and sorry if I'm forgetting anybody else, like decided, like, how did that come together?
So the original five, there's the original class, and then we expanded. I think total there's been about seven, maybe eight Renegades over time, but not at the same time. I think the most we ever had at the same time was six.
Okay.
But the original five were Rudy Garza, Dex Harm, BD Brawley, a guy that goes by Dylan Flair now, but he was Dylan Jarrett back then. And then a guy by the name of Obi, who's the one that I was telling you earlier. I think he moved on to modeling. But we were the standout students in the school, and we just got tired of not getting our opportunity. So we came together and decided one day we were going to jump barricade, and we were going to make them give us an opportunity. So
Ooh, okay.
there was a main event match. One of the big pay-per-views, I believe it was Summer of Champions. I could be wrong. Where Brian Davidson was fighting Mysterious Q in a 2 out of 3 match. and we helped Ryan Davidson retain his title by interfering.
Okay.
Uh, so that's how we made our statement. And then the very next show, Rudy Garza got a match, and Rudy Garza shocked the world and beat Clay Roberts.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly when that was aired, to be honest with you, because that was pre-COVID. That was like 2018, 2019. 2019, 2019. So then we were building up steam. We got Warren to turn, and that's one of the most iconic moments in reality wrestling history. If you ever go back, if you get a chance to go back and watch the Renegades versus Team Row, the Renegades fought Fly Def and Brian Keith and Booker T, right?
Yeah.
And then
That's when Warren Johnson turned, right?
yeah,
I remember that.
okay.
Zach Mason was hot. He was like, Warren Johnson, I was like, yo. He heard that man's feelings.
In my opinion, as long as I've been at reality wrestling, that was like the biggest moment, in my opinion. Nobody saw it come. We knew about it, but nobody else saw it come. And then Warren just added to the group. Like, that was the leadership we needed at the time we needed it, right? That was the star power of the leadership. And then we added on, Obi left shortly after that because COVID happened immediately after that show. The timing couldn't have been worse. Like, I mean, it was a global pandemic, so it affected the whole world. So I'm not trying to say that, but like in our little wrestling show, right? We built up all this steam, and then Nick's show for like 6 months are canceled. And then Dylan joined the Navy, so we lost 2 of the Renegades during that. And then we brought in Jay Alexander, who was a student before we brought him in, but he was Jay Alexander. He's been Jay Alexander since I met him, right? Like, you can't miss that guy. He's built for this. And then towards the end, we brought in Johnny Lyons, who was a wrestler from Wildcat Wrestling in Louisiana. Fantastic guy. He actually wrestled, I believe, right before COVID. He did something with New Japan, and then because the world shut down, he got brought back to America.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, because I was wondering, like, who were the first, like, who else were the Renegades? What we normally do, we try to get, like, I don't think we'll probably ever have a whole stable on here, because that'll be just too many people, but we always try to get everybody in that stable on here. So trust me.
We did one podcast with the entire stable together, but it was Rudy, the biggest personality of us, was like 45 minutes of the hour talking. And then everyone else got like a little bit. Yeah. Rudy can talk forever. He's a super interesting guy. Don't get me wrong. But he's a big personality, you know what I mean? One of my best friends, don't get me wrong. But we had like an hour podcast, and he was 45 minutes of it.
Oh wow.
Super interesting story though. If you do get a chance to get him on, he's got a great backstory. And he's a super charismatic guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Speaking of Ryan Davidson, actually, I'm jealous of Kathy for this. I know she probably saw it too. I saw that you actually wrestled Ruthless Ryan Davidson. I'm like, man, that would have been a match I would have loved to see. I mean, I know Rob here would have been like, yeah, 2 big men bumping meat. He likes to say that thing, and I'm like, wow, like that. When I saw a couple of clips, and I'm like, man, I would have liked to see that, man, because you look ruthless. You look ruthless yourself, right? His nickname is Ruthless, and he is ruthless. I'm like, that would have been like an awesome match to see. I would have been like on the edge of my seat. If y'all ever form a tag team, I'm sorry for those tag teams all over.
That was the joke when he was bald, and I was talking about going bald. Was we would have to make a tag team, but it was an incredible honor getting to wrestle him, because he's been, before I started wrestling, the first ever indie show I went to was a row show at a comic book convention, and Mysterious Q and Ryan Davidson were like the 2 guys that I saw, and I was like, why are these guys not in the WWE? I don't understand it, right? It was like 2014, so it was a long time ago. And he's also been like one of the guys that like took me under his wing and paid special attention to making sure that I was learning the correct things and I was the best wrestler I could be. I can't thank Ryan Davidson enough. So that was a huge honor getting to do a one-on-one match with him. Unfortunately, while I do have it on film, it's one of the wrestling promotions that doesn't release a lot of their film, so it's not available to the general public. But we have done a triple threat at Hurricane Pro. So if you have the Title Match Network, we do have a triple threat where Ryan and Davidson and I were involved in. And there's a Summer of Champions match from Raw where we were on a 3-on-3 tag team match against each other. So
that's cool. That's man. I gotta make I gotta make a trip to Texas, man. I got some gems there I've been wanting to see, and I mean, luckily I got to see Mysterious Q up here, but yeah, I got to make my way down. I'll make it one of these days, so definitely I will. So
you're up in New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of great wrestling up there too, I hear.
Yeah. Lucky I've been able to see two of your stars from down there. That Brian Keith.
Brian
the
Keith's
man,
amazing.
the man that has the kicks. He kicks people with no mercy. This man is like, Jesus, he's trying to hurt feelings with those kicks. And then, of course, one of my favorites from Texas, Mysterious Q. I gotta ask if I ever, I'll probably be risking my life, but if I ever see Triple H or maybe Tony Khan, Tony Khan looks like that, he throws some hands too. But I probably ask him, yo, what's up with Mysterious Q, man? Like, great guy. Why haven't you guys signed him, man? Got a lot of great guys there in Texas. But not to digress, I just gotta say, and I'm not just saying this in front of y'all, because you're from Texas or you're wrestling in Texas in front of me, but y'all got a great scene down there. And man, one of these days I'm definitely gonna make it to one of those shows. I've been to like one in Austin, it's ACW. It was like several years ago, but I'm gonna make it to some more very soon.
You gotta check it out. There's so much wrestling going on right now too. We've got more wrestling going on in Texas than we've ever had.
Yeah. So I just got like one or two questions left. So my second to last question, now that you're a champion, who are some people that you want to defend your championship against in the great state of Texas, or maybe even over in Louisiana? Louisiana's right there. I mean, come on, Kathy drives 5 hours to go over to Texas. Who would you want? Who would you want to defend, or who would you want you and your tag team partner to defend that title against in the near future?
The funny thing is, I'm trying real hard to get onto some shows in Louisiana, so I should be in Kathy's area pretty soon. Fingers crossed. But let's see. The match that I want the most right now, if I'm being completely honest, I really want to work Brian Keith. I think Brian Keith and I will have a really great match, and he's on my list of like the top 10 guys that I want to wrestle next year. If it happens sooner, that'd be great. In that particular organization, we just started having Brick Savage over there. I think Brick Savage and I could have a banger. We power on power, big guy and big guy. I actually saw him yesterday he was actually at the show yesterday, and it's weird when I'm not one of the biggest guys on the show, but there were 3 guys bigger than me, including Brick Savage, on that show.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I always have a good time wrestling Edge Stone. Edge Stone's one of my best friends, and we've wrestled 7 or 8 times, and every single one of them were like top 10, top 20 matches. I love wrestling Ryan Davidson. It's always an honor. Let's see. I finally got to wrestle Kenny Calypso last weekend. He's a local guy who's on the up and up. He's the PWF champion, the like big champion, or the heavyweight champion, I guess. That would be great.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen Edge Stone. That man is a monster. And there's a clip of him chasing somebody. I don't know if it was Raw or SmackDown, but there was a clip where he was
Raw.
Yeah.
Monday he was chasing Dexter Lumis. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just cleared that barricade like it was nothing, and he just kept running after him. Like, yo, it's after to me after seeing that, it's only a matter of time, I think, until he gets signed. Somebody's gonna pick that guy up. If it's not WWE, it's gonna be AEW. If not AEW, Impact, Major League Wrestling, somebody's gonna pick that guy up eventually.
He's got a ton of attention right now. It's really looking good for him, which is great because he's one of the hardest working guys I know. He's actually my personal trainer. Yeah, I'm starting a new diet and workout plan tomorrow, so today's my last like cheat day.
You're gonna come back swole. You're gonna be coming back like all muscles everywhere, and you got the traps here, and jeez.
Well, he's been my trainer for about a year now, and I was about so I took some I wasn't going as hard as I should have been, right? For a little bit in wrestling.
Right.
And I ended up getting to like 330 pounds. And he got me down to about 285. And my shoulders are bigger than they've ever been.
Congrats on that, man.
So if anyone's actually in the Houston area looking for a trainer, Edgestone's the man.
Edgestone, if you ever see this, no offense, he looks like the kind of guy that would probably see you drinking something and he's like, what's that? Oh, it's a slushy. And he probably slaps out your hand like, drink up, you pow. Go get some water.
The funniest thing is I did all of that without dieting, right?
Right.
So like he didn't have me on a diet and we'd take road trips together because like he's one of my good friends in wrestling, and that's one of the things you do when you're coming up is you ride with like the more advanced guys, right? And he's getting bookings all over Texas. So I've gotten a lot of bookings just by riding with him. So I ride with him. I don't eat great on the road with him because you're stopping at Buc-ee's and stuff, right? So like you're eating gas station food on the way to shows, right? So even him being my trainer, I still ate like crap in the car with him, and I still lost all that weight and put on muscle. So he's an incredible trainer. I can't recommend him enough.
Awesome. So my last question is, when you're working out, getting ready to do some cardio or some lift some weights or some reps, or when you're getting ready to face your opponent, what are some songs that get you into that zone to get that job?
Well, the funny thing about cardio, right? If I'm doing cardio, I'm trying to like not pay attention to the fact that I'm doing cardio, right? So I listen to the Beatles or podcasts while I'm doing cardio.
Okay.
I'm a weird guy.
Which Beatles song though? I Want to Hold Your Hand or Penny Lane or like.
I like a lot of more of their stuff from their White Album. I like more of the 70s Beatles.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll listen to Helter Skelter. I'll listen to a lot of stuff from that album. Usually these days I listen to more podcasts if I'm being honest, because like if I'm doing 30 minutes on an elliptical, I can listen to DDP and Jake the Snake break down wrestling matches or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I try to, if I'm not wrestling, I try to put my mind in a place where I can absorb wrestling knowledge, right? Because I'm also 30 years old, so me trying to get on one of these major companies is going to have to happen quicker than most guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm lifting weights, I'll probably listen to some like Eminem, like Till I Collapse, or I'll listen to some hard rock. Like I listen to I Prevail while I work out. Just depends on what kind of mood I'm trying to get into. You know what I mean?
That Till I Collapse track is pretty good though.
Huh?
That Till I Collapse track is pretty good. So I didn't mean to touch you, but yeah, my bad.
Pre-match, I'll listen to like Marshall Mathers LP1, like the old school Eminem, where he was like a psychopath. Because I'm trying to be a psychopath in the ring, right? Getting that mindset.
Awesome. Yeah, that Till I Collapse. Yeah, I always got to have that on my playlist. That's for me. That's like a motivational song right there. So to just keep going. So yeah, that's a pretty good song as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a couple questions for you. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How's everything going today?
Man, I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream. How are
That's
you?
good. Pretty good, man. Just same thing as you, man. Trying to live that dream, man. So how was your day today, man? Anything crazy happen? Just hang out.
I spent my day cleaning out my lizard cage because I've got a bearded dragon.
Okay.
Um, Walking around the house with him, showing him money belt, whatnot, and meal prepping because, like I said, I'm starting a new diet plan tomorrow. So really, I had the most mundane day possible.
Oh, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's what Sundays are for, man. I was doing laundry and trying vacuum and all that stuff. About TV's going, watching a little football or whatever. I got
Right.
something on. Now I do gotta ask, man. What are your tips for growing a glorious beard, man? Because I'm 40 years old, man. I can't grow one. If I actually can grow a nice mustache, but a beard, no, no, no. Like, yeah, it's just a 5 o'clock shadow is about all I'm good for. After that, I'm like a homeless person or something. I got that neck beard syndrome thing. So like, no, 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 yeah. So,
You
man, are
know,
there any oils? Is there any rub? Especially chant, from the Bearded God Club. Maybe you can give out.
typically when people ask me for advice, then my number one tip is stop shaving.
Hmm.
The
There you go.
quickest way to grow a beard is stop shaving. But I use it's called Best Damn Beard Balm. Um, Keeps me right now it's a little wild. I didn't get to brush it out or put beard balm in this morning, so that's on me. Uh, but Best Damn Beard Balm, it's got a great like oaky scent. And then tea tree oil at night makes it thicker and kills the dandruff because you'll get
Okay,
real
that's
bad dandruff on a beard.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, I believe that, man. You can't be having that on a beard, man. Yeah, use the head and shoulders on both, everywhere.
Yeah. You can't wear white or you
Oh
can't wear
man,
black.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Can't wear black, man. Yeah, that'd be all like, yeah, we just eating something, man. It's like, oh man, that was that powdered donut I had earlier. My bad,
The funny thing about having a beard, and no one tells you this, I can't eat runny eggs anymore.
Yeah,
I never had a problem
yeah.
before a beard. Like I never made a mess, but for whatever reason, when I started growing my beard, I can't eat over easy eggs because they'll just end up in my beard.
Hmm.
Don't know why.
Yeah, I've seen guys on YouTube. There's this one dude, I can't remember his name, but he's got like this beard. He's been growing it for I don't know how like since he was born. It's like all out to here. When he does his challenges, man, the egg it all ends up right here and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know if I can watch this, man. You got if I'm gonna watch it, you got to trim the beard up just a little bit, man. Just right above the food line, man. Get right above the food line. Oh man. So I did get to see, man. You might be you're kind of part redneck, man. So I gotta ask if you know any redneck words, man, because I'm country myself, and some people always get confused the words I say, because I'll be like saying words like mayonnaise, but it really means like don't go down the road over there, mayonnaise some crazy people over there, stuff like that, So do you have any words like that?
My favorite one is kerfuffled,
Kerfuffle, yeah.
kerfuffled, or Wally Compass.
Wally Compass. Oh man, okay, okay, that's
You know what I
old.
mean?
Okay, yeah.
Uh, but I'm honestly not that big of a redneck, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That was one of those things I went through. Like everyone called me a redneck, so I was like, you know what? I guess I'll be a redneck, and
There you go.
it worked for a gimmick, and I'm not really that big of a redneck.
There you go. I remember when I was a kid, I worked at McDonald's when I was like a teenager and stuff. And I remember this girl moved down from Philadelphia and got a job there. And she bought a Jeff Foxworthy, might be a redneck book. And she said her boyfriend was there too, 'cause they just got there, needed jobs and all. And he was sitting there back there working. He's like, man, all night out here. Oh, that's Rob right there. Look at me, yeah, yeah, doing this, that, all, yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, man, here we go. That ain't my that country, jeez, man.
Uh,
Oh
that's
man.
crazy.
Yeah, but I'm not a complete redneck either, what I mean? I just like the words and stuff, what I mean? I think they're funny,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
I had a match in Texoma, which is in a small town called Sherman, Texas, and it was while I was still in the Renegade Redneck because that used to be my moniker, Renegade Redneck, right? And the commentary, this is my first time having a match there. The entire time could not stop talking about how much I was a beer drinking redneck. Like I had a 6 minute
That's right.
match, and 4 minutes of the match, the commentary was this guy gonna go to the bar after this match and have a beer, celebrate with his friends. He just left the bar. He knows about fights because he's in bar fights, like the entire commentary. And I was like, I don't even drink beer like that.
Yeah, I get the worst things confused and stuff. 'Cause, I'll ring announce or whatever, and I remember one time I was ring announcing somebody, and their weight was 15 bales ahead. Oh man, he done went away. Did we lose him?
Yeah, he'll be back. It happens, people. Live TV. Don't go
Yeah,
nowhere.
not TV. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be all right.
Yeah. So
So how'd y'all feel about whatchamacall yesterday? Did y'all see it or hear anything?
What, Crown Jewel?
Yeah.
I didn't see a lick of it. I saw
Did you hear anything?
I looked at it on Twitter. I came out 6-2. I missed 2 of them.
I was
So
watching it. I was watching it between doing stuff at work because I was at work, but it was it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. It was worth it. Kathy, you don't tell me it's because there's no women on the show because there are women on the show.
no, I just didn't watch it. I fell
Okay.
asleep I slept till about like noon, and then I just had stuff to do. It was the weekend, so
Okay.
I
Hey,
don't. I've watched a few of them. Like I actually watched one. I was at work. I watched a little bit on my lunch break when it was on a Thursday. I think that was like the last one. But I don't know. Kind of me and Saudi don't mix that well. I
There
mean, I'm
you go.
happy. Like I said on the show, I'm happy for the people, but the politics and everything behind it, it's blood money. But that's a whole other subject. So
but to me, like I think they should do more international shows. There's other places that deserve like Australia deserves a show. You
yeah,
got England. Well, England just got well, I think it was no, it was in Wales, but England
Cardiff,
deserves a
the
show.
Cardiff show blew the roof off. They need to go back. Like London,
Mhm.
London and UK, that's a hotbed
You
for
know,
wrestling. The
you got
crowd's
places
always
like
hot. They always have like cool chants and stuff, and they need to bring that energy here.
you got places like India. You have Japan. I mean, granted, yes, Japan is New Japan territory, but at the same time, they're not running shows every single day. You could run a show in Japan. You got places like I mean, there's other places. You got South Africa apparently. You have Canada. Why aren't we getting more Canada shows? You know, you have places like it just left me. But yeah, there's places that they can go where they can keep shows. It's not like if they can, you know.
Yeah, there's international crowds. Yeah, they come full force and stuff, man. They'll fill out a stadium. And it's a legit oh, there's 100,000 people here. Oh yeah, there is a legit 100,000 people, not even including everybody working. Like how Vince likes to used to do back. They count everybody. Caterers, camera people.
Yeah, they should start doing more shows. Like, and nothing against Saudi Arabia, but they should do if they could do in Saudi Arabia, there should be no reason why France can't get a show. England, can't get a show. You've had NXT UK over there. You got
Yep.
place. Like I said, you got place. Try South America. You got there. You got India.
Yeah. The
They did.
Rumble
I
in
think they
front of
did
the
it last year.
what's that thing in Paris? What's the tower in Paris? The
Eiffel Tower.
Rumble in front of
Eiffel
there.
Tower.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, the Rumble in front of the Eiffel Tower.
There you go.
Have the battle in front of the pyramids in Egypt.
He's back.
Sorry, guys,
Woohoo!
my phone overheated.
Oh no, it's all
Oh,
good. Man, my sometimes my internet's been going in and out, man. So if I sit here if I'm paused, that's what it is. It'll be back on in a second. So I have to ask, man, how'd you start with the suplexes, man? Because when I was a kid, one of my favorite wrestlers was Taz, and every move was his Tazplex. Anything is, Taz slam, Taz throw, anything, what I mean, I'm always, I'm a mark for the suplexes and stuff, man. So how'd you get into the suplexes, man? Was it just like, yeah, I mean, this is easy. I can toss some people around.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I had a list of moves going into wrestling that I wanted to do, right? Like spine buster, um, jackhammer, DDT. Like, I had a list of moves, and I didn't actually want to do like Germans because everyone did German suplexes.
Mhm.
and then I learned how to do one, and I was naturally really good at it. And it's a devastating move, and I can throw someone from one corner to the other of the ring. So I stuck with it because hey, it works and it looks really good.
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen them on your Instagram profile, man. You got a lot of those videos and stuff, man. Like, woo, yeah, man. Yeah, they're lucky that ring's there. You throw them over that rope, you know what I mean, man? Like, gosh, sakes. I'm like, woo, all right.
My first time I did one on a show, the guy almost hit the rope on the other side.
Oh dang. Oh man, that's crazy,
Uh,
man. Now you were saying earlier one of your favorite wrestlers was Sting. And I gotta ask, what was your favorite version of Sting, man? Were you a Surfer Sting guy? Were you a Crow Sting? Did you like, Sting from Impact, the Joker type Sting? What was your favorite Sting, iteration?
so I mean, Crow Sting's got to be like that's the most iconic Sting, right? So,
Hmm.
and that's the Sting that I knew. I wasn't actually aware Surfer Sting existed until like
Mm,
years later.
okay.
'Cause like I said, I didn't get to watch wrestling, so like he was Crow Sting when I watched, and it was like every couple months you'd see him randomly on the show, right?
Mhm.
Or like all the toys were Crow Sting at the
Yeah.
time. So like he's my favorite, but I will say I was a huge TNA fan from like '07 to like 11. Like I watched that religiously, and I kind of watched WWE, and I loved everything Sting did at that point. So that's probably my second favorite version, but I don't think you could beat the Crow version.
Pete the Crow version. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you were telling me, like your parents and all, they were like, not a big wrestling family or whatever, man. Now, I grew up in the total opposite. My
Um,
mom and dad, they would let me. My mom didn't care if I went to ECW shows. I just had to take my little brother, right? So I just couldn't go to Philly, for the shows. If they came around here, the show, colleges stuff around here, yeah, I was good to go. I mean, shit, they didn't care, but going to Philly up there, the ECW arena, no. I used to be like, "Oh man, come on, mom, how you gonna do that?" Yeah, now that I hear the stories, I'm like, "All right, yeah, thank you." I don't know. Who knows what could have happened? Oh my lord, man. Now I gotta ask you, man. Are you a Halloween person? Halloween just passed, man. Are you big into Halloween?
I'm big into Halloween, but I'm not big into Halloween the way people that are big into Halloween are big into Halloween. If that makes sense.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Like it's not what runs my life, but I enjoy Halloween. It's my like third favorite holiday.
Okay. Now, were
Yeah.
you enjoying the movies and stuff when they came out?
Um, Here and there. Like I like some horror movies. Some are like, well, why does this exist?
Yeah,
You
there you
know,
go.
like I
Hmm.
love Amityville Horror. I love that's it's one of those on the spot you can't think of quite like answers. The one where they go hide and they want to play hide and clap. What movie is that?
Hide and seek.
Well,
That
they
was a
play
good
hide
one.
and clap in the haunted house, and then there's the ghost that pops up from behind and claps, and all you can see are
Oh,
the hands clap.
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, man. I can't. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. I
It's the
guess.
one that
Yeah,
was
I
the
think I've seen.
same people that made Annabelle. I can't remember
Yeah.
what it's called.
It's not Sinister, was it? Sinister.
No, it's got one of the same actors as Sinister though.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember.
I love
I will
those movies.
remember 2 hours later. I'm like, oh, there it is. One of them things. Now I do got to ask. I just got one or two more questions before I pass it over to Kathy. You wrestle over in Texas and stuff, man. Is that the farthest you travel? Have you been out of Texas yet? Going around
Um,
kicking butt. Farther Texas, Louisiana area. Have you gone any north, east, west?
I'm working on Louisiana and I'm working on Oklahoma at the moment.
Ooh, okay.
The, the thing about Texas, there's no restrictions really. Um, but Oklahoma, I would have been able to wrestle last month, but I didn't have a wrestling license. And Oklahoma is
Mm.
real strict on everything
Mhm.
with like legal regulations on wrestling.
Yeah.
Texas, you can
Yeah.
basically do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's why I love Texas.
Yeah. I know about that
Louisiana,
stuff, man.
Louisiana, you have to have a wrestling license, and I'm working on that. And then I've been traveling to Louisiana a lot for shows. So fingers crossed soon. Had some people put in words for me places. So
Yeah, I've had to do that, like for Virginia and stuff. There's some places, yeah, they're like, yeah, you gotta have a license and all here, you know what I mean? But then it's good. I think it's good for a couple places. But yeah, like you said, Texas, that no holds bar. New Jersey over here is, man, you can have like little children having death matches. They do not care, you know what I mean? It's like whatever, Hey, they're the wild, wild, East, if you want to say that. Jeez.
that East Coast wrestling's something different, man.
Oh man, yeah. Sometimes, man, you're like, oh my lord. Now, do you have any, living over there in Texas, man? Do you have any funny travel stories? Like maybe you come across a chupacabra or a Bigfoot or something, driving out in them crazy, Texas roads.
Um, let's see. Hmm. Not a lot of crazy stories per se. Just a lot of like ribs on people in the car, stuff like that. I mean, or like Johnny Lyons gets real embarrassed if you try to have him like in selfies or like make TikTok videos and shit like that. Like because we had a TikTok video from us doing some Taylor Swift song or something in the car. Real manly pro wrestling stuff, you know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
And he like refused to be in it, and we just gave him shit the entire road trip. Um, but I mean, it's mostly just drive. Honestly, it's mostly just driving, talking about wrestling or talking about life on the road. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I don't really have any like. I've never really seen anything crazy.
Okay.
Overturned trucks, but
Yeah.
man,
No, I mean, hey, it's like, hey, yeah, as long as y'all good to go, you get from point A to point B and back, to where you need to go safe, man. That's all it is.
uh,
So, man, yeah, before I pass it on back to Kathy, I do want to say, thank you very much for, coming on, chatting with us about your career and all that stuff. I wish you nothing but more success for you, man. I hope you get, over to the East, West, everywhere. I hope you get across seas, kicking butt, winning gold everywhere else you go, man.
thank you so much. It's been an honor. I appreciate it.
All right, Kathy.
All right, thanks, Rob. What's up, BD? How's it going today?
What up? Just living the dream.
No Whataburger? Is that part of the cheat meal, or are you gonna have to quit that?
I've had it twice today because I can't have it for a
Ah,
long time.
see, I knew it. That's why I
That was
asked.
that was breakfast and lunch, which is like
Yeah.
the hardest thing for me about dieting is Whataburger. I'm so committed to Whataburger. That's my next tattoo.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's dedication, huh?
Oh yeah.
So you talked about a little bit with Rob about your beard, the best beard in the business, and you said you use beard balm and tea tree oil. Do you use Booker T's beard oil? Because come on, it's Booker T.
Yeah, my beard's better though. He should use my beard oil.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He's a
That might
two-time
be,
Hall of Famer, but look at this beard.
yeah. That might be another match between the two of you. Biggest, best beard in the business, beard versus beard.
I'm about that life.
Hey. Speaking of when you did wrestle Booker T, you mentioned it earlier in the podcast. He actually came back as GI Bro for that match where they all
Mhm.
had face paint and stuff. So how was it wrestling your teacher?
Well, I didn't actually get to go in the ring, so I didn't get to be a part of the match. I was part of the entrance, and then a part of the. I'm the one that threw Warren the shirt and the celebration and stuff. So it would have been awesome. I mean, I wanted to. We didn't know who was going to be in the match until day of. So like I was ready for it, and then I found out that I was not going to be a part of it, but I got to be a part of the entrance. The X. I got to be a part of the moment, just not the actual match, which is still
Ah,
really cool.
yeah.
Um,
Maybe
I
you should
mean,
have that beard off with him. Then you actually have a get a match with him.
hopefully, I'm really that's one of the big things I want to do before like I'm done wrestling is WrestleBook.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. He's come back a couple of times, and everybody goes crazy when he returns. So that's always cool. Maybe he'll return again. Who knows? Hopefully,
I'm
fingers
hoping
crossed.
so. Every couple of
So
years it gets the itch again, I think.
yeah, every once in a while he comes back. He's like, I gotta show them. I'm the teacher. You gotta show them who's boss.
Did you catch the 5-on-5 you did a couple months ago?
Yeah, so I wasn't there, but I saw the match. That was for Control of Row, and Queen Charmel's team won.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Queen Charmel drove him away to NXT, I guess, right?
I mean, it's no longer Booker T World Gym Arena. It's now Charmel World Gym Arena, right? That's what I keep hearing.
There you go. So BD Brawley, where did that name come from? Because Brawley to me sounds like you're like a tough guy brawling, punching and stuff. So where did that come from?
So luckily, I have a really good shoot name for wrestling. Brawley is my actual last name. I looked it up once. Apparently, I'm Irish. Like I'm 75% Irish, 25% Chippewa. And it's from Brawley, and then they translated it when we moved to, I guess. I think it might have been a name that the government gave my family that was Indian.
Okay.
Or Native American, rather. I'm not sure. But I got lucky with my name's Brawley naturally, and then BD, I'm a large man named Richard. So
I kind of figured that's where that came from, but I was like, I don't know. Because I did know your name was Richard. So I was like, I wonder if that's what that stands for. And it turns out it is. So there you go. Sometimes it's cool being right?
And just got to be careful on family shows, right?
Yeah, I got you there. I smell what you stepping in. So as you mentioned earlier, PWF is Premier Wrestling Federation, and you're the Lone Star champion last night. So how do you become co-champions? Like, did you and Tommy pin the same person, or it's just that y'all tag team with each other?
Yeah, we pinned the guy at the same time. We put our tag team finisher on him, and then we both pinned him. And they couldn't decide the victor, and we got it.
Gotcha. So what if Tommy loses the belt? What you gonna do then?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Tommy better not lose, though.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm trying to stir the pot here, I guess. Keep you on your toes there. So
we'll
yeah, you talked.
I think we're gonna hold it indefinitely, personally, but
there you go. Yeah, some infinite champions for the first time ever.
I'm buried with that championship.
There you go. So you talked to Rob about suplexes, and you're called the suplex juggernaut. And you were talking about that German you do, and it's a damn good German too. I have to give you that.
Thank you.
Because most guys, like you think of Kurt Angle, he's not like 6 feet like you are. You think of Chad Gable, he's short and stocky too. But you actually, like, you're 6 feet. You have to throw your opponent over yourself. Like, they get pretty, like, some air the way you throw them. So you have like a pretty cool German, because it's like you have to work harder because you're taller, right?
I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I've never been shorter, so I don't know how hard they work, but I assume. But yeah, I mean, I seem to throw them farther than anyone I've seen personally. I can hit post to post, so depending on the size of the guy.
Pretty impressive.
I hit it on T-Ray last night and didn't go quite that far, but he's 250 pounds, so he kind of landed closer to me than normal. But
yeah, T-Ray's a big hoss, just like you are. So that must have been a crazy match. Like you're a big guy, T-Ray's a big guy, Tommy's a big guy. So just like a bunch of big guys in one match.
Yeah, it's he is so solid. T-Ray is solid. I caught him for a dive, and there's no giving that man. It's 250 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, it's like he's a big truck.
Yeah,
like wrestling a truck. So yeah, you mentioned too, you do a spine buster. That's pretty sick too, the way you do it. And then you have another move. So you get them in a body slam, and then you pick them up. Instead of slamming them, you pick them up and you do like a one-handed power bomb kind of thing. It's like a Greco-Roman BDE I saw you had on your Instagram.
Yeah, it's a BDE. The Greco-Roman part was just a joke, but yeah, it's called a BDE.
Yeah, because I saw it a BDE at first, and then I was like, the Greco-Roman. I was like, that sounds weird, but okay. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So like they come off the top rope and you grab them, and instead of like power slamming them, you pick them up, and then you just kind of like one-handedly power bomb them almost.
Yeah, I accidentally did it once, and then it just stuck, and I've never seen anyone else do it, so I thought, this is a cool finish.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody else do it either, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I can do it on big guys too. I just never get the chance.
So you also mentioned you wrestled Edge Stone, and I saw in one of your Instagram clips you did like a rolling Hurricane Rana on him. So not only do you brawl and you do suplexes, you can high fly too.
Yeah, save that for the big guys, but yeah.
That was pretty crazy. That was sweet too. I was like, that's awesome.
Believe it or not, Diego De La Cruz is the one that taught me that, and he took one from me.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah. He's a very strong guy for his size.
So I saw Shiva chopped you in one of your videos, or there's a picture of it. She says when she chops people, she's slapping a mosquito off there, like she's doing them a favor. So did you have a mosquito on you? Was she slapping mosquitoes, or she just chopped you?
It didn't feel like a favor, that's for sure.
Yeah, her chops are pretty lethal. Like they sound like gunshots. They're pretty brutal.
Yeah, she's tough. She hits hard.
Yeah, it's all in the family too, because like you wrestled Ryan Davidson a couple of times too, so keep it all in their little family going there.
That was a tag match with me and Johnny Lyons versus her and Ryan Davidson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she slaps pretty hard.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
I had that whole mosquito thing came because I had posted a video of her slapping Misty Marks. She chopped her for the Sherry Martel Classic, and she's like, "Oh, I was just swatting a mosquito. I was doing her a favor." So I was like, "Oh, I wonder if she does that to all of her opponents. She's just helping out."
I mean, maybe there might have been a mosquito. I was mid-match. I don't know. Definitely didn't feel like it though. Didn't feel like a favor. I would have taken the mosquito bite.
Be like, it's okay, I'll just take it, like I don't need your chops.
Right.
So my last question before I turn it over to Remy is you also wrestled Row does these things where they do during the week they do a student showcase where it's kind of like I guess a rookie versus a vet type of thing, and you got to wrestle Abel Andrew Jackson. So how was that match?
It was good. It was interesting. Abel's on the list of guys that I've always wanted to wrestle, right? Like he was also one of those guys that when I was watching Row before I started wrestling, I was like, this guy's awesome. Why isn't he in the WWE, right? So that was a big moment for me to finally wrestle with him. And like ever since I started wrestling, he's always been real cool to me. Took the extra. I appreciate anytime someone takes the extra effort with me, like especially when they don't have to. Like when you're a rookie in wrestling school and somebody that's established teaches you something or takes time to teach you something, because not everybody does, and he's one of those guys that does. So like it was a special moment for me. It was real cool. Unfortunately, I didn't get the win, but he is a legend, so he's a real Hall of Famer. So I mean, can't win them all. And if I'm going to lose to somebody, Abel Andrew Jackson, great person to lose to. Super smooth in the ring. Absolute veteran. Like he knows what to do in every situation. Even when like things weren't going well, he turned it around. So like I can't say enough good things about him, honestly.
Yeah, that's what's cool about training at Row. There's Booker T, there's Abel, there's Ryan, Johnny's there, Edge is there. Like there's so many people. I saw the little training clips and stuff too, like on Row does like weekly, and Johnny was there and Ryan was there. You were there training with them, so like it's pretty neat. Like on those the advanced days that they do and like intermediate. So like you can kind of go in there and train during the week. So like Road has all of these people and all this knowledge. So like it's got to be amazing, training over there.
I'm incredibly fortunate to be in the same ring a lot of times with guys that are honestly some of the most talented wrestlers on earth, and they just, for whatever reason, aren't in the WWE or AEW. And like it's honestly it's criminal that a lot of these guys aren't, because like Ryan Davidson's Abel Andrew Jackson, Brian Keith, Mysterious Q, Edge Stone, all of those guys are TV quality wrestlers. They could main event Raw next week and you wouldn't think it was weird. And I get to learn from these guys weekly, which is it's like a seminar. It's like going to a wrestling seminar you would pay a ton of money for every week. I couldn't be more fortunate, and wrestling at Rose incredible. And on top of all that, Booker T owns it, and you get to Booker T gives you critiques, and he teaches you how to wrestle, and you're in the presence of a two-time Hall of Famer. So yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I can't beat that, and that's why I drive the 4 hours over there. Because you guys, I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years now. You guys are like family to me, pretty much, and I see you at most of the shows, and I'll definitely get to talk to you again when I go to another show, and we'll get a picture and whatnot. And it's been an honor to have you on the show, and I'll see you down the road, and I'll turn it over to Remy.
Can't wait.
All right, Remy.
BD, thank you very much, for taking time out once again to, shoot the breeze about, your wrestling career and whatnot. We really and truly do appreciate it. We're so sorry that it took this long for us to get the rest to roll on. But like I said, I don't know if you read comics, but I always say that we're like Professor Xavier. Like, when he goes into
I read comics.
Yeah, so when he goes into Cerebro and puts on that, when he puts on Cerebro the helmet, it's not a matter of if there are mutants that he can help, is who he wants to help first, because there's so many out there to help. So that was the case with us. There's so many people. We got people over in not just Texas, but we got people over where Rob is in Delaware and the DMV area, and then of course there's people in not over here in New York that we should have on. Then there's people over in Louisiana where Kathy is, and then there's the other places. So it's not, and nobody's taking priority over anybody. It's not a matter of priority. It's a matter of like, we just gotta be like, who should we have on? So, but we thank you very much, for bearing with us, and tell Rudy and the rest of them. I know if Dylan's still wrestling, but him too. We coming for the rest of them. We won't have all of them on the show to shoot the breeze about some wrestling and whatnot. But before we actually shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearances, purchase BD Brawley merchandise, or hopefully maybe some road merchandise if y'all still have that, or if y'all gonna have a second run, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows, if not all over the world, all over the country?
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate being on here, and thank you so much for the privilege. And I think it's better that I'm on here now than a year ago. So, to be completely honest, I think this is much better than it would have been a year ago, and I appreciate being a guest. Fans can find me on Instagram on BD_Brawley, and then my Facebook is also BD Brawley, no underscore, just BD Brawley with my name. And then if you are looking for BD Brawley merch online, I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees. So ProWrestlingTees.com/BD Brawley. And I believe I have a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees that I don't have in person. So there's an exclusive shirt if you go to Pro Wrestling Tees.
Awesome. So you heard the man just gave his social media links. Promoters, hit him up. I got a guy here, Nobody Out Crazy's Ophelia Productions. Apparently he says he trained at NYWC. I'm not doubting you, bro, but hey, maybe you could end up fighting that guy, facing off with him, or maybe teaming with him over in good old New York. The pizza's pretty great here, by the way.
I've been wanting to try that pizza. I had Chicago's, but I haven't had New York's yet, and I want to know that beef. I want to know who's better.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna sound blasphemous and probably lose any credibility I had as a New Yorker, but I kind of like both. They're kind of like neck and neck.
Oh yeah.
It all depends on what I want to eat at the time. Do I want to go deep, or pause, by the way, for that one, or do I want to fold it for the actual slice? So yeah, it's all to me. It's all a matter. But
I've never had the pleasure of going to New York, but I hear it's amazing.
It is. The fan base here, it's insane, and pretty much everybody visits here. And I mean, we had Mysterious Q and Brian Keith here, so they'll tell you it's something else, and that's in a good way too.
Mhm.
But y'all heard the man. He has merchandise available. Go ahead and check it out. Cop some BD Brawley merchandise. Support indie wrestling. If you can't make the shows he's at, this is another way you can support him, because he just doesn't just do it for the fame. He does it for us, the fans, as well too. So go ahead and support this man. Support indie wrestling. It's a great feeling. Think about this: when he gets signed by WB or AEW or one of the other big wigs, and somebody's like, "Yo, I just got the BD Brawley merchandise from the online store at this company." You'd be like, "Man, I had this stuff from since he was with Renegades of Wrestling, man. Get out of here. I'm a real fan." You know what I'm saying? It's a great feeling to support indie wrestling, so do it. If you don't do it, I'm going to have Kathy beat you up and tie you up, and then Rob is going to actually come to your house and eat all your food. Not BD Brawley's not going to do it. You see how Rob is skinny? He will eat all your food and leave the skip rope in your pot. That means you got to skip that meal, because it ain't happening at that time. So support indie wrestling. It's a great thing. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for bedtime. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, Kathy Knight, the money penny to my James Bond, the Pepper Potts to my Tony Stark, and also the Tennille to my Captain. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, all things Becky Lynch and Paige, and good eating in Louisiana?
So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome. Make sure you follow her. She actually has a lot of great edits on YouTube as well. Rob Bass, the Eminem to my Royce the 5'9", the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and the Riggs to my Murtaugh, Lethal Weapon reference. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearance is, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rob_Base82, and then Facebook Rob Base. And next weekend, the 12th, I'm gonna be in Houston, Delaware, 1CW, CCW. We got a show going on. Yeah, a lot of crazy. I think there's 13 badass matches. I think I'm the only ref for 1CW, so I think I'm doing Iron Man duty. And then you got CCW. That we got all the talent. We got everybody coming up. Miles Millennium versus Ty Awesome for the championship. We got the Gang Warfare. We got our guest Tuesday. One of our guests Tuesday, he's going to be in the Gang Warfare going against my trainer, the guy who helped break me into the business. A good friend of mine I train with, man. So, man, crazy stuff's going on. And then the lady side, Kylan King's going to be there, the Renegade Twins, Christina Marie, all of them, they're going to go there and just dominate, kicking butt. So definitely go to Houston, check it out. If you can't make it, you can check it on Facebook Live or DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com.
Y'all make sure y'all check out those two shows. 1CW is killing it right now. CCW, not just women around their area, but they have women all over the country, all over the world. They just had Vert Vixen a couple of months ago, who was on our show. Is actually from Texas, same place you're at, BD. They just had Sue Young, who was, of course, from Impact, and they actually had Shaza McKenzie, who was her opponent from Down Under. That's Australia. So you never know who's gonna pop up at those shows. So if you are in Houston or surrounding areas, heck, if you're over here in New York and you want to take the drive because you're that motivated of a wrestling fan, check out CCW and 1CW. They're doing good things like it's nobody. They're doing big things like it's nobody's business. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuned in tonight live. We really truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. We strive to be one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to, and we will keep on doing so. To those y'all that are going to listen later on when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral, Rob Bass at a Taco Festival, and Kathy Knight at Cafe Dumont for a buy one, get one free special. We're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. But with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware. It's not news to us that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey, yo, Kathy Knight, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for PWF Lone Star co-champion, the man with the best beard in the business, the suplex juggernaut, BD Brawley.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
All right. 3, 2, 1. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we will be back tomorrow with another impressive guest on another impressive episode. But until then, we just want you to do 4 favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Bye.